Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, and as you exhale, notice that you just let something go without even thinking about it. That is where we begin today. Most people think of letting go as a form of loss, as giving something up, as the moment when you finally stop fighting for something and admit that it is gone, which feels, from the inside, uncomfortably close to admitting defeat. This is why we resist it for so long, why we negotiate and delay and find reasons to wait just a little longer. Because letting go has been framed in almost everything we have been taught about effort and loyalty and love as the thing you do when you have failed to hold on firmly enough. But what if that framing is backwards? What if letting go is not about losing something, but about getting something back? Think about what you are actually spending when you hold on to something that has already ended, not the thing itself, which is gone regardless of how tightly you grip in the direction it left. What you are spending is your present attention, your current energy, the portion of yourself that could be here, in this day, available for what is actually in front of you. Every hour the mind spends in negotiation with what cannot be changed is an hour that is not available for what can. The cost of holding on is not paid in the past. It is paid in the present, in the form of a life that is only partially inhabited because so much attention is pointed elsewhere. Stand at the edge of the ocean and watch a wave arrive, the way it builds and breaks, and for a brief moment surrounds your feet with something cool and present and alive. Then watch it return. Now imagine trying to stop it, grabbing at the water as it pulls back, trying to hold one particular wave in place. The frustration would be immediate and complete, not because you lack strength or determination, but because the wave was never designed to stay. It arrived. It was fully what it was for the moment it lasted, and then it moved on, as waves do. Many of the most important experiences in a life have this quality. They were real, they were fully themselves for the time they lasted, and then they moved. The way everything moves. And the suffering came from insisting they should have been exempt from that movement. There is a Buddhist teaching about a man crossing a river on a raft. The raft served him genuinely and well. Without it, he could not have made the crossing, and his gratitude for it was completely justified. But when he reached the other side, instead of leaving the raft at the bank and continuing on his way, he lifted it onto his back and carried it with him. The raft that had once supported him now weighed him down. The same thing that had been essential in one context had become a burden in another, not because it had changed, but because the situation had. The question the teaching asks is simple. Is it not wiser to thank the raft for what it carried you through, and then leave it where it belongs, and continue walking? Not everything that was genuinely valuable in one chapter belongs in the next. This is one of the more difficult things to accept about growth, because it can feel like ingratitude, like deciding that what helped you no longer matters, or that what you loved was somehow not worth the wait. But the tree does not hold its leaves out of loyalty to them. It releases them because the season has changed, and because what the next season will ask of it requires branches that are free. The Taoists found in this not loss, but the natural intelligence of a living system, the understanding that release is not the opposite of growth, but one of its essential mechanisms. There is also a particular fear underneath the resistance to letting go that is worth naming directly, because it operates quietly in many people without being clearly seen. The fear that moving forward means the experience no longer mattered, that healing is a form of forgetting, that if you stop grieving something, you are somehow declaring it unimportant. This fear is understandable, but it is a misunderstanding. You can carry an experience with you, its lessons, its memories, the ways it changed you, without continuing to live inside it. You can appreciate a photograph without trying to climb back into it. The significance of what happened does not depend on your continued suffering from it. The love that was real remains real, even after you have released the grief that came when it ended. The Taoists described the person who has genuinely learned to flow with life as someone who does not mistake the familiar for the safe. The past feels certain because it is known, because its shape has been traced so many times that it is completely mapped. The future feels uncertain because it has not yet arrived. Yet everything that has ever genuinely mattered in your life, every meaningful relationship, every significant opportunity, every experience that actually changed you, came from that uncertain future, arrived as something you could not have fully anticipated, and became part of you precisely because you moved toward it, rather than retreating into what you already knew. The non-attachment that the Buddhist tradition describes is not emotional distance. It is not the performance of not caring. It is the freedom to be fully present with what is here without needing it to be permanent, to love without gripping, to experience without trying to preserve the experience from the change that everything eventually undergoes. This quality does not produce a smaller life. It produces a larger one with more room in it, more availability, more genuine capacity for what each new moment is actually offering. Think about the moments in your own life when you have felt most free, most genuinely at peace. Almost always, they share one quality. You are not fighting anything. You are simply there, in whatever was happening, without the running argument with reality that occupies so much of ordinary consciousness. That quality is not reserved for rare occasions or ideal circumstances. It is available in any moment that the grip loosens enough for it to show up. As we close today, I want to leave you with a question that is worth sitting with honestly. What are you holding right now that your hands would need to release in order to be open for what comes next? Not because what you are holding was not real or did not matter, because it did, and because you have carried it faithfully. And because freedom, it turns out, is not something that arrives from outside. It is what becomes available the moment you finally open your hands. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.